In this video, we will discuss the fault and protection codes F1, F2, F3, P0, P1, P2, and P4 in Westinghouse air conditioners.
Generally, error codes F1, F2, and F3 are linked to specific issues. F1, mostly related to problems with the outdoor ambient temperature sensor. F2, mainly associated with issues in the temperature sensor located on the exterior condenser pipe. F3, primarily related to problems with the temperature sensor located on the compressor discharge or thin pipe. Regarding the resolution of these problems, irrespective of the affected sensor, the recommended procedure is as follows. 1. Disconnect the equipment for several minutes and restart it to check if the problem persists. 2. If the problem persists, focus the diagnosis on the outdoor unit located outside the conditioned space. 3. Locate the sensor according to the error code and visually inspect to ensure it is securely positioned at the measuring point and not loose. 4. Rule out moisture on the sensor and clean it with a dry cloth. Also, check for potential false contacts between the sensor and the external electronic board, as well as the condition of the wiring. 6. Use a multimeter on the kilo scale to measure the electrical resistance of the sensor. The measurement should never be zero or infinite, otherwise, replace the sensor. 7. If you don't have the manufacturer's resistance values, rub the sensor with your hands and observe if the multimeter registers changes in the measured value. It should decrease as you rub the sensor. If not, replace the sensor. 8. If measurements indicate the sensor is electrically sound, focus the study on the board's power supply to the sensor. 9. Connect the sensor, turn on the equipment, and, using the multimeter on the direct current voltage scale, measure if the sensor's electrical supply is correctly around 2.5 volts. Otherwise, the damage could be in the external board.
Now, we will examine the protection codes P0, P1, P2, and P4, followed by a general troubleshooting procedure. The protection code P0 indicates a malfunction of the Intelligent Power Module, IPM, or protection against excessive current in the insulated gate bipolar transistor, IGBT. The protection code P1 signals an overvoltage or overload in the power supply of the unit. The protection code P2 indicates high temperature protection at the top of the compressor, requiring diagnosis and resolution. The protection code P4 points to an error in the operation of the inverter compressor. Recommended steps to resolve these codes. A. Check the power supply voltage. Verify the voltage supplied to the unit. If the voltage is abnormal, try connecting the system to a different power line. If the voltage is unstable, consider using a voltage stabilizer. B. For code P2, inspect the connections of the temperature switch or protector located at the top of the compressor. If you disconnect the switch from the wires and test it with a multimeter, the switch should show continuity. C. For codes P0 and P4, verify the power connections to the compressor. Additionally, test the IPM module and the compressor as follows. Diagnosing compressor inverter coils. 1. Identify potential coil faults. If the compressor coils are open, shorted, or grounded, the compressor is damaged. 2. Perform resistance measurements on the coils. 3. Even if no obvious issues are detected, internal coil faults may still exist. 4. In an inverter compressor, resistance measurements should be very close or nearly identical across all tests. Testing the Intelligent Power Module, IPM. 1. Location and function of the IPM. The Intelligent Power Module, IPM, is located on the outdoor electronic board and is responsible for powering the 3 coils of the inverter compressor. 2. Turn off the power supply to the electronic board. 3. Wait a few minutes to allow the electrolytic capacitors to fully discharge. 4. Identify the module's pins. Use the serial number of the module to identify each of its pins. 5. Perform necessary measurements. First measurement. Place the multimeter's red probe on the negative pin of the IPM module. Place the black probe on each of the U, V, and W pins. The measurements should be nearly identical across all tests. If there are significant differences, a fault is present. Second measurement. Place the multimeter's black probe on the positive pin of the IPM module. Place the red probe on each of the U, V, and W pins. The measurements should again be nearly identical. If there are discrepancies, this indicates a fault in the module.